Every kid who touched a basketball thought about the NBA at least once. You hit one deep three in practice, and suddenly you're seeing draft night. But look, the numbers on this are brutal. There were 540,704 boys playing high school basketball. Only 19,617 played NCAA men's basketball at any level. That's just 3.6%. And only 1.1% reached Division I. Then, from NCAA men's basketball to Major Pro, the estimate was about 1.0%. So yeah, your chances were never just work hard and believe. They were more like be ridiculous, then get lucky too. This is the first problem. Almost everybody started the dream before they understood the math. You were 10 years old cooking a slow defender at the park. Your uncle said you had it. Your coach liked your energy. You had one 20-point game in middle school. Now the dream feels real. And that's how it gets people. Because basketball is one of the few sports where the dream feels normal. It's everywhere. It's on your phone. It's on TV every night. Your favorite player looked human enough to copy. But the NBA was never normal. It was always one of the hardest clubs on earth to enter. And look, if you like fast NBA breakdowns like this, subscribe now, because this whole path gets even crazier from here. By the time you reached high school varsity, the talent gap started getting ugly. The best player in your school looked different. The best player in your county looked even crazier. Then AAU happened, and now you're seeing kids your age built like grown men. That's when reality usually hit. Not everybody was competing for the NBA. Most people were competing just to stay on the floor. Now we gotta talk about the part people hate. The NBA is not just about skill. It's also about body type, length, size, explosiveness, how fast you move, how high you get up, how easily you change direction. The average NBA player is about 6'7". The average American man is about 5'9". So right there, before handles, before shooting, before work ethic, the league already started from a different physical baseline. That doesn't mean shorter players have no shot. We've seen exceptions. A few glorious weirdos beat the odds. But exceptions are what made them famous. If you were normal height, average athlete, and just pretty skilled, man, that was not enough. Because once the game gets serious, everybody was skilled. Then the real separator becomes how much size do you have, how much force do you play with, and does your body still work at top speed against elite athletes? That part is cold, because a lot of players are genuinely good. They just aren't NBA-shaped good. This is where people overrate themselves the most. A lot of players look unstoppable in local runs. They drop 28 in rec league, cook people at LA Fitness, hit sidestep threes over accountants and gym teachers. That does not mean NBA. The NBA asks different questions. Can you make the right read in half a second? Can you defend space? Can you survive switches? Can you hit the same shot when the closeout comes from a 6'8" demon? That's different. A lot of hoopers confuse bucket getter with pro prospect. Those are not the same thing. At higher levels, coaches care about role value. Can you defend? Can you shoot reliably? Can you make quick decisions? Can you rebound out of your area? Can you avoid killing the offense? Because once the talent gets elite, nobody needs another guy who needs the ball. They need guys who fit. That's why some high school stars disappear, and some lower-scoring players quietly keep climbing. One guy has mixtape moves, the other guy has NBA habits. That second guy lasts longer. Let's say you actually make college basketball. That already puts you in rare territory. But look, that still doesn't make you close. It just makes you visible. Because now you enter a level where every roster has killers. Some are stars, some are glue guys, some are future overseas pros. Some are future trainers telling middle schoolers to stay in the lab. And only a tiny slice of that group keeps rising. The NCAA estimate for NCAA men's basketball players reaching Major Pro sits around 1.0%. That's disgusting. You finally beat the high school odds, and the next door still barely opens. So when fans say, he plays college ball, he could have gone league. Maybe, but probably not. College basketball is full of incredible players who still have zero NBA future. That is how narrow the gap is. Now, here comes the fake hope. People see the NBA draft and think, 60 names, that's not impossible. And yes, it is. There are 60 selections in a standard NBA draft. That sounds like a lot until you remember how many players want those spots. And not all 60 spots are equal either. Top picks get runway. Late second-round picks get uncertainty. Some guys get stashed. Some barely get guaranteed money. Some get cut before fans even learn their number. So even draft night doesn't mean security. It just means you survive one more round. That's why undrafted players still matter in this story, because sometimes the real fight starts after the draft ends. This is maybe the craziest part. There are only 30 NBA teams. Each team can have up to 15 standard contracts and up to 3 two-way players. That's a maximum of 18 spots per team. So across the whole league, that's only 540 possible spots. 540? That's nothing. That's not best players in America small. That's best players on the planet, then sort again small. And even those spots weren't really open. A bunch belonged to stars, a bunch belonged to veterans, a bunch belonged to specialists, a bunch belonged to younger prospects teams wanted to develop. So when one seat opened, it wasn't just you chasing it. It was elite college players, G League guys, veterans, Euro players, second-round picks, undrafted guards averaging 28 somewhere, and some 6'9" wing from overseas nobody on your block had heard of. That is the pool. And yeah, man, that gets dark fast. Now let's be real. If you wanted a real shot, you usually needed several things at once. Not one, not two, several. You needed a real physical base, you needed actual production, you needed some skill that translated upward. Not just school-level skill, league-level skill. That usually meant one of these: elite shooting, real size, real athletic pop, high-level defense, playmaking that held up under pressure, or versatility that made coaches trust you. And then you needed timing. Maybe your body developed late, maybe the right coach saw you, maybe you landed on a roster that needed exactly your role, maybe injuries opened a door, maybe your shooting jump came at the perfect moment. That part matters too, because careers were not just built on talent, they were built on fit meeting opportunity. That's why some players looked better and never made it, and other players with one elite translatable skill stayed around for years. The NBA never asked, "Can you play?" It asked, "Can you help us specifically?" That's a much meaner question.